I'd like to take a moment to talk about the Spirit Halloween 2022 Flagship Store grand opening. So, let's jump right into it. For everything scary, I'm GMHaunts, and welcome to a recap of the Spirit Halloween 2022 Flagship Store grand opening, as well as a thank you note to the Spirit Halloween team, which I will get into in just a second. Now, if you're unaware, the Spirit Halloween Flagship Store just had its grand opening yesterday at the time of filming this video on July 30th, 2022. At 11 a.m. on that day, the Spirit Halloween Flagship Store opened up its doors to reveal the brand new ISC for this year, Dr. J. Reaper's Monster Laboratory, as well as all of the awesome new product that has come to us from Spirit Halloween. Now, I know that a lot of haunters were there to experience the absolutely amazing energy and just amazing coming together of Halloween fans from across the country, but I also know that there are some amount of people who weren't able to make it. So in this video, I want to give a recap of what happened at the grand opening of the Spirit Halloween Flagship Store, and towards the end of the video, I want to send a giant thank you and personalized thank you to a lot of people on the Spirit Halloween team for not only everything that they did for me at the opening, but also for putting together an amazing grand opening of the Flagship Store. Alright, so if you didn't know, haunters started lining up very, very early for Flagship this year. Actually 3 days early, because on Wednesday afternoon, a fellow set of haunters, Haunt World and eCoops videos, set up a tent on Wednesday afternoon for the grand opening of the Flagship Store. They were equipped with some fans, a lot of food, and a microwave. And they camped out since Wednesday afternoon. They were kind of, in my eyes, they were shared #1 in line for the grand opening, and just, I sent a huge props out to them for sticking out for 3 days out in the concrete, sleeping on concrete with a microwave for the Flagship Store grand opening. And people also started popping up after that Wednesday campout. Now, I arrived at the store at 3:30 a.m. on July 30th, yesterday, 2022, the grand opening day. Last year, for 2021, I went at 6 a.m. for the opening. This year, I went at 3:30, and I was 139 online. To give you a little bit of perspective, last year, like I said, I went at 6 a.m. I was number 12 online. This year, I went at 3:30 a.m., and I was 139. Flagship was really, really big this year. A lot more people showed up. I'll get into that at a second. So you might be wondering, what does Flagship look like or sound like at 3:30 a.m. on the grand opening day? And to give you a little bit of an idea of that, this is what was happening at 3:30 a.m. So yes, I kid you not, there was a car alarm going off at 3:30 in the morning. It was pretty loud, it was pretty annoying, and luckily after a couple of minutes it got turned off. But it kind of seemed like it wasn't going to stop, so I'm glad that after around 4 or 5 minutes the car alarm did stop, and it was back to peace and quiet at 3:30 in the morning. So from 3:30 to 11 o'clock, which is when the store opened, I want to say I absolutely had the time of my life and had some moments I will never forget waiting for the Flagship Store to open up. At around 9:25 a.m., I actually got to have an interview with some of the members from the Spirit Halloween social media team in the media headquarters tent. I know that's what it was called. It was basically just a Spirit Halloween tent. I had a fantastic time doing that interview. I will get into that in more detail in a second. I got to hang out with a lot of my friends for hours, just talking about Spirit, talking about Halloween in general, and getting to meet a lot of people that either I haven't seen in over a year, or people that I've never met before who have been online friends. I had a fantastic time hanging out with other haunters and meeting people for the very first time. It was very, very awesome. So around 9 a.m. was when stuff started to pick up, because Spirit started to open up their festivities and their games that they would be running until the store opened up. This included a witch hat tossing game. Basically, there were a bunch of witch hats, and you would toss a ring, trying to get the ring to land on top of the witch hat. They also had a coffee stand where they were selling coffee and donuts. They were selling some Mountain Dew, I believe, which is very awesome. They also, at 9 a.m., started showing screenings of the Spirit Halloween official movie trailer for the very first time. It sounded very cool. At this time, I have not seen it yet because it was so crowded I actually couldn't even get into the tent to see it, but it sounded very interesting, and that was the first screening of the Spirit Halloween movie trailer. Now, it was around this time that these things right here, the lanyards for 2022 that had the number that you were online, started to get handed out. Now, I want to say right now, the handing out of these lanyards was so organized. The way they did it, going down the line of the time that you got there, basically, if you were further up, obviously you got a better spot, but it was so organized with the handing out of these lanyards. Also, I just love the way they look. As you can see, it says Grand Opening 2022. It's got Jack on there, and then the back has the number that you are online. Obviously, this is the number that you were going to be let into the flagship store come the opening time. The people running the line, I'm going to thank them right now. You did such a fantastic job handing these stuff out, and you did such an organized manner of giving these out and making sure that it was no one was cutting in line, that if you got, the further up you were, the better spot you were, and they just did a fantastic job at handing out the 2022 lanyards. Now, actually, before the store opened, I got to meet some people that I am very big fans of, who I haven't really had the pleasure of meeting in real life before Flagship 2022, and the first person that I was able to meet who I'm a very big fan of is actually one of the lead art directors over at Spirit, and his name is Carlos. Now, Carlos does a lot of the art stuff over at Spirit, whether it comes to concepts or even collectible figures. He does a lot of really awesome work, and I'm a huge fan of him, and I got to have the pleasure of meeting him yesterday at the flagship store. Now, this right here was actually one of the items that was in the swag bags that got handed out. The first 200 to the flagship store in line got a swag bag, and this figure right here, this collectible Crouchy, was actually in that swag bag. Now, the guy that I just mentioned, Carlos, he actually designed and sculpted this Crouchy figure right here, as well as did the box art for it. Now, I actually had the pleasure of going over to Carlos and meeting him, and he actually signed, as you can see from the top of the box, he actually signed my Crouchy figure, which was just really awesome. Now, I want to say right now, I loved meeting Carlos. He was such an upfront guy. He was really awesome to me. He was really awesome to a lot of other people that were coming up to him, and I really appreciated him taking the time to sign my collectible Crouchy figure, and also drawing a very spooky devil face on there. Really awesome. Carlos, if you're watching this video, thank you so much for everything you do for Spirit, everything you do for Haunters, but also for being such an awesome guy when I went up to you, and for signing my figure. Keep doing what you're doing. I know a lot of people look up to you. You are definitely a role model for a lot of people in the Haunter community, and you are just such a fantastic guy. Now, the second group of awesome people that I got to meet at the Spirit Halloween flagship store grand opening were some people named Daniella and Taylor. Now, I want to say right now, Daniella and Taylor came up to me, and I was honestly very surprised when they did, because I knew exactly who they were. Right when they walked up to me, I knew exactly what they looked like, and I was shocked they came up to me. Now, if you didn't know, Daniella and Taylor are actually a part of the buying team over at Spirit. They are a part of the team that picks out and chooses the product that Spirit is going to sell for that upcoming season. They are a part of the team that picks out just the fantastic items that we get to see for Spirit Halloween. They know exactly what we're looking for, and they do a fantastic job picking out the product every single year that we get to see and buy for that upcoming season. Now, I had a fantastic time talking to Daniella and Taylor about Halloween, about my videos, and about the product that was in the stores. They asked me what I was most looking forward to seeing, and I said that Nozzles the Clown was my favorite animatronic, and I was really excited to seeing him at the flagship store. Daniella and Taylor, if you're watching this video, thank you so much for being so cool to me, and for telling me that you watch my videos. Really made my day that I know now that some people at the home office watch my videos and appreciate the stuff that I do. Please let it be known that I way more appreciate the stuff that you do more than you appreciate the stuff that I do, because you do a fantastic job every year, both of you, on picking out and choosing the stuff that we get for the upcoming Spirit Halloween season. The product every single year is so fantastic, and you are a reason why that can happen. I know there's some other people on that buying team who I'm going to mention in a second, but Daniella and Taylor, you are so awesome to meet in person. Thank you so much for coming up to me, and thank you so much for letting me know that you love my videos, because it really does make me smile, and it made my day. So at around 10:55 a.m., which obviously is just 5 minutes from away from the flagship store opening up, we actually had a 10-second countdown to the flagship store ribbon cutting ceremony, which was a lot of fun.
All right, here we go. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go!
awesome counting down 10 seconds with haunters all around me. It was really loud, and then the cheering at the end of the countdown was just surreal to be a part of, and it was just a lot of fun. Obviously, after that, the Flagship Store opened up its doors, slowly letting in groups of 50, I believe, at a time. I might be wrong, but basically letting in everyone by the number that they are. Obviously, I was let in at number 139. It was very organized. Again, I want to say that again. The Spirit Halloween team this year was so organized, was making sure that the number that you were, you got into the store right after the number before you. No one cut in line, no one got in early. Spirit did a fantastic job doing that, and everyone who was on the team of watching the people getting let in, thank you for making it a fantastic time, getting let into the store. No issues, 100% organized, and it was really fluent. Now, also, as people were getting let in, there was actually announcements of the numbers who were being made by basically a DJ who actually came from a local radio station. As you went in, he would announce, like, number 2, number 3, number 4 on a microphone, so it was really loud and everyone heard as you went into the store what number you were. DJ, who I forget what your name is, unfortunately, but thank you so much for making it an awesome time and being a great MC for the Spirit Halloween Flagship Store grand opening. Not only for what you did as people were being let into the store, but also what you did prior to that, doing the dance kind of contest and announcing all of that. I really enjoyed your MCing, and you did a fantastic job. So obviously at this time, the Spirit Halloween Flagship Store had been open for the 2022 season. Chaos was going on inside the store as people frantically ran around to get their favorite animatronic of the season. It was really awesome, just like last year. The energy in the Flagship Store this year was just insane as haunters saw the ISEs, the themes for the very first time, the animatronics for the very first time, and got to grab their favorite items of the season to buy them at the Flagship Store. Such an amazing energy inside that store. I really can't even describe it. If you haven't been to the Flagship Store before, I really recommend you go next year or anytime you can, because the energy in there on the grand opening day is something that you never feel at any other Spirit Halloween location, just because you have all haunters in the same place, you have all the corporate people in the same place, and it is an amazing experience. I can't even put to words how much fun it was when the store first opened. So obviously, I'm not going to talk a ton about the store itself in this video. If you want to take a look at my walkthrough or my store tour video of Flagship 2022 at the grand opening, I just uploaded that video last night. Go check that out so you can check out the Flagship Store for the very first time virtually in my video. But I did mention in the beginning how this video is kind of a thank you note to all of Spirit Halloween. So at this point, I would like to get into that. Alright, so the next group of people that I would like to thank are over at the Flagship Store, kind of building team, I guess you could say. This is Anthony and Paul. I want to send a big thank you out to them because they work so hard to make sure that the Flagship Store looks absolutely perfect, down to the wire and minuscule details. And it works because obviously the Flagship Store is always spot on, it's always super clean, there's always stock of everything, and it always looks amazing. And Anthony and Paul over at the Flagship Store are one of the reasons because of that. They put so much into their jobs, they care about what they do, and you can really tell that when you meet both of them, or even when you just see them working. They just put so much into what they love to do, and someone like me as a haunter who goes to the store can really appreciate that. So Anthony and Paul over at Flagship, please keep doing what you're doing. You do an amazing job. It doesn't go unnoticed, and I really, really appreciate what you do. Alright, so next up, I would like to thank the social media team that I worked with when organizing and doing my interview at the grand opening. And this kind of includes Peter, who I talked to a lot, who is one of the lead social media people who got in contact with me about the interview that I did. Peter, you're an amazing person. I really enjoyed talking to you. Thank you so much for helping organize this interview, and thank you for very clearly kind of presenting the idea to it at the Flagship Store and explaining the whole time thing that we were going to do. You're a really, really cool person. I also really, really enjoy the person that I did the interview with. I am so, so sorry because I don't remember what your name is, but I'm sure you know who you are. You're the person who was filming the interviews. You did a fantastic job conducting the interviews, asking the questions. You made it really, really easy for me and for the other people who are a part of them, other haunters and a couple of my other friends. Thank you so much. Again, I'm so sorry I don't remember your name, but you did a fantastic job, and I really appreciate everything that you do as well. Now, I did already say this, but obviously I want to thank one more time Carlos over at the art team of Spirit. You were such a fantastic guy when I got to meet you. Thank you so much for signing my collectible Crouchy figure. Keep doing what you're doing on the art team. You do fantastic work, and once again, like I said before with the other people, it doesn't go unnoticed what you do, and I really, really appreciate it. Now, obviously, I don't have enough time to sit here and thank every single person who works on the Spirit Halloween corporate team, but I do want to send a thank you out to everyone who, as I said, works on the Spirit Halloween corporate team. Everyone who helped put together the flagship store opening for this year did a absolutely fantastic job, and I know that I appreciate it, and I know that a lot of other haunters who went appreciate it. Flagship 2022 was an experience that I absolutely will never forget, and a big part of that is because the corporate people that I got to meet and talk to were the most down-to-earth, sweet, and awesome people that you will ever meet. I've said this before and I will say it again, the Spirit Halloween corporate team has some really, really awesome people in it. Some people that you want to talk to, and some people that the world needs more of. I'm a huge fan of everyone on the Spirit Halloween corporate team, and I'm definitely a big fan of everyone who helped put together the opening for this year. Even the people who are handing out the badges. It's a small job, but it's one that has to be done, and it's one that has to be done in an organized manner. The people who are doing it this year, they did a fantastic job. If you know who you are, you know if you handed out the badges this year. Thank you so much for doing your job and doing it well and being organized, because it helped make the opening more fun, and it made me relax when I knew that no one was going to get any spot in front of me because of how organized it was. So once again, and kind of just overall, thank you so much to the entire Spirit Halloween corporate team for putting together a day that I will never forget, and a day that haunters will never forget. The flagship store opening for the 2022 season was an absolutely amazing time, one that I will remember for the rest of my life, and I just had a fantastic time meeting some really awesome people from the Spirit Halloween corporate team. Please, everyone on the team, keep doing what you're doing. You're doing fantastic work. I can't wait to see what you have for years to come at the opening day, and I just love what you did for this year. Thank you so much, Spirit Halloween, and on the behalf of the Halloween and Haunter community, I thank you for a fantastic flagship store grand opening.